Welcome, new and old friends. My name is 242, and today 42 brought back the I Was Never Allowed into the Basement series. Today we have Rando Carizian, Zori Audio VA, PA Nightmares, Silver Threads, and last but never least, I got Patience as well. That's right, 42 stole as the Raven's Dream's wife for, like, a day. It's okay, she's back home now. If you have not heard the other parts yet, make sure you go back and watch them. There is also a playlist on YouTube. Trust me, you want to hear how this all started. So, turn off your lights, make sure your doors and windows are locked. Things are about to get spooky. The monster in the closet wrapped its tendrils around my body. I'm scared, it whispered as I hugged it tighter as the man with the gun searched for us in my room. If you're enjoying this video, hit that like button and make sure it feels it. I was never allowed into the basement. I finally found out why. Part 4. By FleetSteps.
I'll give you 2 a minute.
Papa said with a sad smile, setting down his flowers and walking back towards the car. May put a comforting arm around me as I stood awkwardly in front of our parents' grave. I leaned into her and wiped the tears from my face. May was only 9 minutes older, but sometimes the difference felt like years. It was always her taking care of me. Exactly 1 year had passed since they died, and the pain hadn't subsided at all. Most nights, I still wake up crying in a cold sweat. Then I heard a knock on my door and May's soft voice asking,
"Can I come in?"
We shared a wall, and my sleepless nights meant she would not sleep either. We sit on the bed and just talk about anything, sometimes for hours. Finally, I'd be able to fall back asleep and she'd slip away back to her room. They left, I choked out through tears. May leaned her head into mine.
I know.
What if you leave me too?
I'll never leave, I promise. But you need to wake up, Aaron. Wake up.
My eyes snapped open, and for a moment there was nothing but bright, blinding light. At first I had no idea where I was. I tried to make sense of what was happening, but my mind felt sluggish, like it was moving through molasses. I knew the dots were there, I just couldn't connect them.
He's awake,
I heard from a voice off to the side. My vision finally cleared and everything came together once again. I took a look around and saw I was in a matted white room, laying in a hospital bed. I was wearing a hospital gown and noticed my folded clothes sitting on a small table next to my bed. Someone must have washed them though, since they were no longer red from all the blood. To my side, I saw a woman in scrubs tending to an IV that led into my arm. My arm was cuffed to the metal rail of the bed. I jolted upwards and yelped as I felt a sharp pain in my shoulder, now held in a sling and covered with bandages. Oh right, that crazy bitch shot me!
I just spent hours reconstructing that shoulder. Don't you dare mess it up again.
The doctor scolded me.
Fix that pretty face of yours too. You're gonna feel out of it for a while. I had to use some pretty strong painkillers. Reconstructing bone and tendons. It's nasty stuff. Takes a lot. You must be pretty important for the Colonel to use all of these resources on you.
Staring at the doctor, I realized she was the same woman wearing a lab coat that I had seen when we first landed, before Braddis had shot me and killed Tom. Don't know why she would, she's the one who fucking shot me. I muttered angrily.
Oh, you mean the Lieutenant Colonel? No, I'm not talking about Helena Bratis.
The doctor spat the name with disgust.
If we're up to her, I would have cauterized your wound with rusty metal and woke you up with a bucket of cold water. Colonel Fenway is the one who gave the order. He's in charge here. From what I could tell, he wasn't very happy with Bratis either. You'll get to meet him soon. He's on his way over here right now.
The doctor's words surprised me. For what I had seen, Bratis had been unchallenged in her authority, other than the dead pilot. The possibility of her answering to someone hadn't even occurred to me. The door of the room hissed and slid open to reveal a man in plain clothes who I assumed to be Colonel Fenway, followed by 2 soldiers in body armor. One of the soldiers carried a chair and sat it down next to my bed.
If you could give us the room, Tara.
Fenway told the doctor, who quickly exited the room. He pointed at my restraints, and one of the soldiers produced a key and unlocked the cuffs. And then they too left the room. I wasn't sure what I was expecting the colonel to be like, but Fenway wasn't it. I guess I just thought anyone who could keep someone like Bratis on a leash would be more. What stood in front of me was an incredibly unassuming man, looking to be in his late 40s. Fenway wasn't very large, a little on the shorter side and pretty skinny. Not bone thin or anything, but not muscular in any sense. Still, maybe it wasn't the way he carried himself, but something about this man commanded my attention, my respect. Fenway grabbed the chair and sat a few feet away from me, clasping his hands together before beginning to speak.
Colonel Fenway of the new United Syndicate for Reclamation. Your name is Aaron?
Fenway held up my wallet, producing my driver's license from it. I nodded.
Aaron, I'd like to start by apologizing for how you've been treated by Lieutenant Colonel Bratis. And I want to let you know that she's been punished. We're all under a lot of stress here.
I laughed. Tell that to my great uncle. I'm sure he'll feel a lot better. Oh wait, he's fucking dead. Fenway sighed.
Bratis is harsh, but effective. Sometimes a necessary evil in times like these. She's been punished, you have my word. I do want to talk to you about your great uncle, though. And you look like a man with a story, Aaron. I'd love to hear it.
Fenway seemed genuine, and I decided that this could be my only chance to achieve what I had come here to do. I proceeded to tell Fenway absolutely everything. I didn't mean to, but the man got my whole life story. How May and I had been orphaned, how my grandfather had also eventually died, how I had discovered the mutant in my basement that attacked May and forced Tom to take me to this world. All the while, Fenway sat there, listening to every word. When I had finally caught up to the present, Fenway started to speak.
You see, I knew Tom Lanson. He was brilliant. And 13 years ago, he worked on a part of Project Kronos. The purpose of the project was clear. Harness a Tesla-Freemy bridge, I never could pronounce that, to climb through the fabric of space and time. Time travel in lamest terms. They were on the precipice of achieving it too, before the world went to shit.
Fenway paused, gauging my interest. Satisfied, he began again.
Once it became clear that no cure was possible.
But isn't there one? I interrupted. I got injected with something after some of their blood got on my face.
The serum that you were injected with will only halt the process of whatever stage it's at. Hard to make, and it has to be used quickly after infection. Nothing more than half a measure, I'm afraid. Anyways, once the world went to shit, Project Kronos became everything. Eventually they realized Tesla-Freeman bridges weren't just portals into time, but also universes. Still though, it didn't matter.
Fenway waved his hand around.
We identified 3 possible universes to escape to. Beta, Charlie, and Zulu. Obviously, if we had kept analyzing the data, I'm sure we would have found more. But time was short. We identified 3 candidates we were reasonably sure had timelines similar enough to our own. During this, the scientists working on it had their families moved to the compounds. In Tom's case, it was his brother and his sister-in-law and their little girl. Your mother, I presume. A promise of their safety as motivation to continue the project. Complete it, and they would be allowed to bring their families. But it was a cruel lie. You see, at maximum occupancy, the bridge creates a field to cover around 200 people, and its power is not limitless. Within the orb is an experimental antimatter reactor, and with the world the way it is, we have absolutely no way to get any more antimatter. 3 trips at most, 400 people in total. The scientists and their families were never allowed to go. Only the elite of the elite had a ticket. Tom, being the smart man he was, put 2 and 2 together. I don't blame him for what he did though. I probably would have done the same thing if I were in his shoes. One night he and his brother snuck into the facility and killed the entire project security team. The one that had lived through the attack was Helen Bardis. I never knew if it was because her and Tom were friendly, or if it was because Tom was a lousy shot. They took the bridge, crashed the armor car through the main gate, and escaped into the city with his brother's wife and their girl. 2 days later, our satellite detected gamma rays emitted from the antimatter reactor, and we knew he was gone. 10 years later, we detected them again when you arrived.
Throughout Fenway's recollection of the story, I listened intensely. I felt amazed to finally understand everything, to put all the puzzle pieces together. It felt even better to know that if I could go back home with some of the serum, maybe I could still save May. Fenway, as if reading my mind, brought those hopes crashing down in a spectacular fashion.
Aaron, my men were able to recover the bridge of the meadow that you arrived at, and are on their way back here right now. But I can't send you home.
Why the hell not? Fenway reached inside of his jacket and produced a ripped piece of fabric with symbols scribbled on it, and I recognized it as a piece of Tom's coat.
We found this on your back pocket. These symbols are identifiers for the universe Zulu, what I assume to be your home universe. If you enter these into the bridge, it'll take you there.
I realized Tom had been scribbling on the flight over here, which he must have shoved in my pocket when he fell on me while exiting the hovercraft. Tears filled my eyes. Despite everything I had done to him, he had been thinking about me, doing his best to make sure I still get home.
3 trips, Aaron. 3.
Fenway handed me the piece of fabric and went on.
The bridge has been used twice. 1 trip left. Your sister has been infected, which means she's probably infected the rest of your world. 1 trip left, and I can't risk you going somewhere where there's more of those fucking things. What would you do if you were in my position? Sacrifice the safety and future of 200 people? Good people? I will let you come with us to Beta, as thanks for returning the bridge, but that's all I can do.
I was about to start arguing when 2 soldiers who had been waiting outside suddenly re-entered the room.
Sir, they've returned with the bridge.
Fenway looked at me again.
I'm truly sorry. I hope you see what I'm doing is absolutely necessary, Aaron. I will be back for you once.
Yet again, someone had their brains blown out in front of me. It was really starting to get old. One of the 2 soldiers had just shot the other and was now pointing his gun at a shocked Fenway and me.
Colonel Bredis has requested to see both of you.
Loading the gun, he had finally built up the courage to face the monsters that had been torturing him. Kicking open the school's doors, he muttered under his breath, "The bullies will rule all those times they picked on me." I got home to my empty apartment after a long shift at work, desperate for a hot shower and beer. But when I got into the bedroom, the shower was already running and my pajamas had been laid out for me. I do hope you enjoyed this installment of the Basement series. Hit that like button and make sure it feels it. Thank you again, Rando Carizian, Zori, PA, Silver Threads, and Lady Raven for joining me to tell this story. All their links are in the description box if you like to check them out. If you're new, please subscribe if you like what you heard. This story still has 3 more parts to it. If you'd like to help this channel, share this video or the playlist with anyone who might enjoy this. If you'd like to help in other ways, I also do have a Patreon and merch. All my links are in the tree link. Of course, leave me a comment, but first, let me get you that Sunday word. Now, our Sunday word last week was poison. If you're on YouTube, the sentences are on screen, and if you're on the podcast, go to my Twitter and I'll have a picture of them for you there. Now, let's go on to this week's Sunday word. And this week's is stumble, which means to trip or monetarily lose one's balance, almost fall, or an act of stumbling. So, if you're on YouTube, you got the job easy. You just have to leave a comment with this word in it. If you're on the podcast, go to my Twitter, @me, and write a sentence using the word stumble. But as always, guys, thank you for watching and listening. It really means the world to me. Sleep tight and don't let 42 bite.